It's Tuesday. Welcome to Show Me the Money Club. Before you all get crazy, all right. So, welcome to Show Me the Money Club, episode 119, straight 119. I think we didn't miss any. So last week, Chris was on vacation, and I did a Q&A, kind of a live stream, which a lot of people enjoyed, I think. And I've been getting requests to do this, solo again. Well, the reason I'm by myself today is not because Chris is not back from vacation. Chris is back from vacation, except that, as you may all know, Chris's wife is pregnant with their third child. So they had a little bit of an emergency. So Chris may or may not make it to the show, but so I wish him the best. I just talked to him. He says should be okay. He may join in an hour or so, but I will keep you guys entertained. Don't worry about it. So let's go through some business. By the way, we have an amazing guest, obviously, besides the point that I'm going to go through some business to take care of. First, once I take care of the business, we're going to go directly to our guest. And as you guys have seen on the thumbnail of the show today, Kashi, CEO of Voom, revolutionizing not only rideshare insurance, but you guys are going to enjoy this. It's great information, and potentially savings for you all. So the rundown today is going to be Kashi, CEO of Voom. I think he's 12th or 13th CEO I'm interviewing on Show Me the Money. We appreciate his presence. So our topics, I've been getting so many emails with Lyft's shenanigans that they keep sending you guys all the passive-aggressive emails, right? You're in breaking service or community guidelines, and, you're on the... You can get deactivated, right? I mean, it's just all a bunch of garbage. I have some news on that, actually, because I had a meeting with Lyft yesterday. But another topic is going to be both companies' earnings came out, right? Uber versus Lyft. You remember you guys had we had the little tree and the big tree, right? Well, the little tree, big tree is back to the big tree, little tree again. I'm going to talk a little bit about their earnings and what their stocks did, obviously, and which is how much trouble is Lyft in competing against Uber. Then Uber CEO, Mr. Dara Khosrowshahi, who is neglecting me and not coming on the show himself, had a very interesting interview about Tesla Robotaxi and Elon Musk. So we're going to touch upon that. We have an amazing, actually, dash cam taken by Display Ride from a driver that sent me the video. So he literally had a passenger who absolutely kicked the door of his car in, literally. And now you guys will understand the importance of dash cams. And we'll talk a little bit about that for your safety and your rider's safety as well. When Lyft had their earnings call, their CEO, David Risher, who's probably going to come on towards the middle of September, we was talking about opening a can of whoop ass. This is not my words. This is exactly his words. During the analyst call, he said, we're going to open a can of whip ass on Surge and offer something called price lock. I talked to them about it. We'll be able to give you guys a little bit more information or color about that. We know what's been happening since the 70/30 Lyft guarantee showed up, right? But again, it's after external expenses, and external expenses has been an absolute hocus pocus. That's what I call. It's my favorite word, and I'm sticking by that. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Department of Justice investigating rideshare companies for refusal of trips with guide dogs. Well, this is a huge headache for all of us, right? People with so-called service dogs that get in our car and then they complain we don't accept them because they're not actual service dogs, and then we get deactivated, right? And I'm going to have my 2 cents worth on that. One last topic will be, as we all know, who Tony West is. Tony West is the chief legal officer of Uber. and he's taken a leave of absence to help his sister-in-law's presidential campaign. What do you guys all think about that? And then we have a couple of fakes, obviously, and so a little bit more business. Please thumbs up on the show. There's a couple hundred of you here already. Thumbs up supposedly helps with the YouTube algorithm. It's whatever, but then please thumbs up. We put up good information. We will help you guys out with better earnings and everything else. And share, obviously. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Become a member, support the channel. I think it's like $3, $4 or something like that. And then, by the way, I'm going to start I decided to do one extra live Show Me the Money like I did last week solo to do Q&A for about an hour and a half or so because everybody enjoyed that. I'm going to continue doing. I'm going to add that actually. I don't know what day. Maybe you guys should send me an email saying suggested day. I was thinking Wednesday, actually, once a month. If you speak Spanish, now we have RSG Español. It is me going through AI and speaking perfect Spanish. So please go check that out if you're a Spanish speaker. We also started a new channel, delivery content on RSG, the delivery guy by RSG. So it's at the delivery guy by RSG. And last but not least, we have a newsletter, which is free. You guys should go to www.therideshareguy.com and subscribe to the free newsletter. I write in there, wonderful, wonderful contributors write in there, and don't miss it out. It's a good opportunity for you guys to read and learn a lot more of what's going on than just visiting us once a week with Show Me the Money. So with that said, I'm going to bring on Tomer Kashi, the CEO there he is, Mr. Tomer Kashi. Tomer, how are you?
Wonderful. So great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So this is by the way, people, if I mess up, so I'm technologically adept, but then I don't run the show. As you guys know, Chris pushes the buttons in the background. If I mess up, I apologize in advance, but I'm hoping that at least Tomer's session does not get messed up. So Tomer, you're the CEO of Voom, VOOM Insurance. And I think you're either 12th or 13th CEO I'm interviewing. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here. And I'm watching the channel, from time to time, and I'm very glad, for the amazing work that you're doing to educate the rideshare industry. I think it's very important, and for me, it's an honor to be a part of the show.
Thank you, much appreciated. So you go ahead and introduce yourself and also the company, Voom.
Wonderful. So personally, by background, I'm Tomer Kashi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Voom. I'm a computer scientist and physicist geek that studied for my bachelor degree at the age of 15. That somehow became an insurance geek over time. Voom is an insurance technology company, meaning we're tech guys, but we're very hardcore insurance guys as well. And we're providing smart insurance solutions for what we call the future of mobility. We have several products in the market that I will talk about, and one of them that I'm personally most excited about, and it's also like the newest product of all, is a product for rideshare drivers that I'm gonna elaborate on today. Just really at a high level, so Voom is VC backed. We raised more than $22 million so far. We issued more than 100,000 policies, and that's about us really at a high level. Sergio, you're on mute. I can speak to myself, and they think
no. Yeah, I said you're kind of an Elon Musk. You had your degree at 15 years old. I'm going like, wow, we're at the presence of genius, people. I mean, seriously. But besides that, I think these types of shows I love doing because information is power. Okay. And unfortunately, according to Uber, there's 7.5 million people on just Uber's platform driving. Okay. Let it be deliveries, let it be rideshare, but mostly rideshare, obviously. And unfortunately, Uber and Lyft both do not educate the driver enough to make them understand the risks of rideshare driving without proper insurance. I mean, it's a given. And so, as you know, we have 4 periods in during a rideshare trip, period, or rideshare driver's day, let's say.
Mhm.
Period 0, where the app is off, they're driving around their kids to soccer practice or whatever. Period 1, the app is on, we're waiting for trips. Period 2, we accepted the offer, we're on our way to pick up the rider. And period 3, we have a rider in the back seat, we're going to our destination. So with that said, I know what your product is, but what I'm going to do is I want you to explain what you offer in each period, right? And by the way, people, you should all know there is a $2,500 deductible, and I don't think too many rideshare drivers are carrying $2,500 in their pocket in case there is a fender bender. But Voom takes care of all of this. So with that said, let's go through period 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want me to put the slides up or whichever one you want, I'll just go with that as well.
Yeah, you know what? So let's put the slide up. If you can go back, yeah, let's start. We'll go down.
Okay, you didn't want the second one. This is the first one. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. So you can skip these two.
Skip this one. Okay.
And wonderful. So just as I mentioned, so Voom is an insurtech company. We already have several products in the market. Actually, some of them for other gigs as well. So, for example, we're the largest drone insurance provider. So many like gig workers are doing drones are going to Voom. We do motorcycle insurance, and now we recently a year ago launched this rideshare product, and we have like a lot of learnings from one product to another. And I think that the challenge that these millions of rideshare drivers are facing is very clear. If you jump to the next slide, if you may. So if I'm a standard driver, okay, I'm usually buying my own personal insurance policy from the Progressive, Geico's, Allstate, State Farm of the world. Okay, now assuming I'm a rideshare driver, then I'm coming to these companies saying, okay, I'm doing rideshare. What they're gonna do is, okay, buy a rideshare endorsement, just increase your premium in 25-30%. Okay, our claim is that actually in many cases you should pay less, not more. Okay, because these companies, they know nothing about you, so they rate you like the other driver that is commuting 2 hours a day to work and having long trips over the weekend and so on and so forth. But you're a rideshare driver. In many cases, as soon as you're out of your home, you're with the app open, what's called period 1, and other times you're already doing rideshare. Okay, so your personal mileage in many cases is actually much lower than many other drivers. And later on, when you're on period 1 or period 2 and 3, like you said, you're already covered by your Uber and Lyft. So if most of your mileage is already covered, why should you pay as if you were driving 2 hours to work every day? So in essence, Voom today is the only insurance that is tailored for rideshare drivers, meaning we know how much of what's called exposure, how many miles you really are driving for personal use, and you're paying only for that. Okay, so if your car is being used mainly for rideshare, then your actual personal mileage is much lower, and you should pay less for your insurance.
Okay, so it's like almost like a pay-as-you-go kind of a situation.
Yes, so you don't necessarily pay a few cents per mile, and we change your rate according to the exact mileage that you did. We try to simplify that, but in the grand scheme of things, you estimate the amount of personal miles that you are going to drive on your car.
Okay,
and based on that, you're paying only for what you really need. Okay, so just a few months ago, I took a ride with in Texas the driver had a brand new Tesla, and they asked, okay, that's really great. How come you have such a brand new Tesla, for doing rideshare? So he said, the number one expense they have is electricity, is gas, and they have free electricity in my lodging. And I said, okay, wonderful. So what's the number two expense you have? He said, insurance. This guy was paying more than $3,000 a year for insurance for a car that he's using only for Uber. Okay, so think about it. He's paying $3,000, and the actual risk for the insurance company that covered him is practically almost nothing. Obviously, it's covered while it's in the garage, but besides that, they only cover them when he goes to wash his car, and that's it.
Wow.
So obviously, this driver should pay much less.
Okay.
These are the that you're targeting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saving some questions, so we'll save some time for the favorite questions. So if you do have questions, audience, please, shoot it, and then I'm looking at the chat, and then we'll ask Tomer about specific situations. So before the show started in the green room, we were chatting. You said you also provide regular period zero insurance as well, correct?
Yes. So in essence, the Voom insurance policy replaces, we come instead of the personal auto insurance that everybody has. Okay. And in many cases, it's actually cheaper because we know that in many cases, most of your mileage is already covered by Uber and Lyft by law.
Yeah.
I will get in a second to how we know and how we rate the driver, how it works. But that's in the grand scheme of things. And another layer of that is that on period 2 and 3, where Uber and Lyft are required, and other rideshare companies as well, are required to cover you, they have a pretty high deductible.
Yep.
So they have a $2,500 deductible on your comprehensive and collision coverage. Meaning, you're in an accident and then you have to pay out of pocket a huge amount of money that in many cases can get you, out of work until you able to fix your car. We covered that gap. Okay, so if you have like comprehensive or collision coverage with Voom, let's say with $500, and then you have an accident with Uber or Lyft, will cover the gap between the $2,500 deductible to the $500. So in many cases, we managed to create this like magic solution of getting something better for cheaper. It's a very
how much of that is involved because of AI or whatever? I mean, I'm sure you're using some sort of technology, right?
Yes. So we can skip to the next slide or the slide afterwards to really speak about how it works. Then maybe the slide afterwards.
Okay, let's go to the next one. This one. Okay.
Yes. So let's say you're a rideshare driver. Not let's say you are a rideshare driver. You go to the Voom insurance portal and you try to get a quote. We ask you many questions like any other insurance companies. But one of the questions that we ask you is, how much do you intend to drive for your personal use? Okay. And your policy is, highly rated on how much you're driving for your personal use. If you are, driving a lot, but actually the personal use is very limited, then the Voom policy is going to be much cheaper.
Okay.
Now, we do audit that. The way that we do it is that we ask you once in a while to take a picture of your odometer. This way we know like the overall mileage of your car. But then, a lot of these miles are actually covered by Uber and Lyft. So what we do is to sync with your Uber and Lyft account, and we know the trip data from your actual account. This way, we're able to deduct the miles that you're doing on these platforms in order to get you this better rate.
Okay. So I'm saving like tons of questions, so we're gonna stick around for a while. So so once we do this, right? I mean, obviously we all gonna talk about how many states they're in. I want to ask you this question because I honestly think rideshare drivers who drive without period one or that $2,500 gap coverage that you offer are risking so much without knowing what they're risking, right? A lot of drivers who are present here and are going to watch this later, they have no clue that Uber's and Lyft's P1 coverage is garbage. It doesn't even exist, honestly. And so with that in mind, right, how many, how old is Voom, by the way? How long have you guys been around?
The company has been around for around 7 years already.
Okay.
This product is relatively newer.
Okay. And so, I look, I always tell drivers who ask me, should I get period one coverage? Should I get like a rideshare endorsement through my company, existing insurance company, or not? And we know, look, we know what has happened to insurance rates in this country, in many states, specifically in California, but also in Florida and a lot of different states. They have gone up 40, 50, 60, 70% over the last, 2-3 years. And obviously, the drivers are not making the same amount of money they were making 5-6 years ago, right? I mean, the rates have been cut. So we have to treat this as a business, right? And what better way than, deal with a company like yours to save some money, because it goes to our profit bottom line. But, I have to ask you this. I mean, I have talked to a couple other companies similar to yours, but I want you to explain what the differences are. There was a company called Buckle, right? They came and disappeared. There was another company called Stable Insurance, which were pretty much in the same, genre or same business as you guys are in at the moment. What makes you different, and what will make you survive?
Wonderful. Okay, so I think that you asked two questions that are both very relevant and connected to each other. First one is like also the periods of what we cover, what the platform covers, what's period one that I would like to address, and then I think it's like very connected to what other companies like Buckle and Stable that I think very highly of offered, and we can address these two questions together. So I think that you've broken it down very well from again, education standpoint. Period zero is your personal errands. Period one is with the app open but no real activity. Period two, on the way to a passenger, and period three, with a passenger in your car. Uber and Lyft and other rideshare companies, they cover like completely period 2 and 3 with the gap of this deductible. So we do not cover that at all. We only cover the deductible. Okay, and that's also the reason that we're able to make it so cheap, because we don't cover that at all. Then period 1, as you said, like Uber and Lyft, they provide like a very, very minimal coverage, like only the mandatory limits by the state, but they do not cover comprehensive collision at all. If you have like higher limits, they do not cover it at all. So then again, Voom comes in, and if you have a gap, if your liability is higher, we'll cover this gap. If you have comprehensive and collision, Voom will cover that. So that's like very similar to like what's it called, like period 1, like or rideshare endorsement. That's also what the rideshare endorsement is offering. Okay. And then period 0 is anything else that yes, we also offer that, because we want to create like a comprehensive solution, basically a solution that will replace your personal auto policy, or the personal auto policy plus the rideshare endorsement. So instead of, to answer your question, should I have rideshare endorsement? The answer is yes, in order to get better protection. But actually, better than that, instead of that, just go to try Voom out. Maybe you'll get the same thing for cheaper. So that's with regards to the different periods and what we offer and what are the gaps. I will say that there are very good resources on our website on what are the different periods, what are the different coverages offered by different platforms, both rideshare and delivery. So I would take a look at the Voom blog for that. And I think that also Harry, the rideshare guy, also wrote an interesting piece about it.
Yeah, in fact, people, Voom's website link is in the show notes. It's right below us, right? So don't do it now. So watch us first, and then you can do it. Also, the Rideshare Guy article that was about Voom, is the link of that article is also in the show notes. So please go check it out. Educate yourself. Education is power. And you said you've been around for 7 years, but in the rideshare business, fairly new. And as far as your expansion plans, right, and how many states you're in at the moment, I know California is a very difficult market to get in, but to be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that you're already in 15 states, because when I was dealing with Buckle and Stable, I mean, they had all kinds of trouble getting into or expanding anyway. That was probably one of the reasons of their downfall. So what makes you so good that you can expand so fast?
Just lucky. Now, Sergio, let me answer the previous question that you had about like Buckle and Stable, so it won't appear like I'm dodging any question.
No, I was gonna get back to that, but I'm thankfully okay. All right.
So I personally talked with many people in both companies in order to learn about what they did, in order to make our own new mistakes rather than repeating the previous ones. Okay.
Yep.
And the offerings of some of them were a bit different. So let's say like Buckle, for example, they did cover period 2 and period 3. So they needed to offer like much broader coverage instead of Uber and Lyft. And then the policy was much more expensive, and just like the economics model didn't work, because then as a driver, I'm coming to a driver and saying, instead of paying $2,000, come and pay $1,500 with Voom. Their pitch was a bit different. Now, instead of paying $2,000, now pay $3,000, $4,000 to Buckle.
Yeah.
So, it's a bit different. We don't cover the things that you already covered for, and this way we're able to be more cost effective and tailored. The other thing that I will say, so these companies are not here anymore. There is never guarantee that we'll be there, in 10 years or so. So like we're doing our best to be there, but there is never a guarantee. What I can confirm that the insured, if you purchase a policy, then there is like a very strong financial backing that will cover your claims anyway. Okay. So even if the product we decide in several years time, hopefully won't happen, that we want to issue more policies to new customers, or we want to renew or whatever, the customers are protected. The insurance product is regulated by the Department of Insurance of each and every state, and they basically the reason that they regulate it is that they want to make sure that if a claim happen, there will be someone to pay, and that's us and the reinsurance backing that we have behind us. So that's with regards to that. The other
and outside these 15, what does the future expansions plan look like?
Yeah, so our goal is to be countrywide. Okay, I think there are many drivers in other states that we don't operate yet in, that are basically on our waiting list already. When we talked about a year ago, we were only in 2 states, Arizona and Tennessee, and by now we're already in 15 states. As you can see here, Nevada, and Arizona, and Colorado, and Oklahoma, and Texas, and Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri, Indiana, Minnesota, and Maryland. And actually, we're launching in Ohio in a week time.
There was a question actually now that somebody asked, when are you going to be in Ohio? So there you go. He answered your question without me putting it up.
Wonderful. So
we
are expanding rapidly. And I don't even know Greg, so it's not like a question that I invited. It's an organic one.
But no, but first of all, I'm glad you answered the question, because I was going to re-ask you the question in a different way. You learn from the mistakes, obviously, and you don't want to repeat those mistakes, right? So I want to do like a little bit of a summary. Let me see if I understand. Unfortunately, you're not in California yet, but I'm sure somebody's going to ask you, so I'll ask before they ask. Is there any, is California the last place to go, or is it very difficult to enter California, or what's going on there?
So what happens specifically in insurance or insurance expansion, we basically need to go through the Department of Insurance of each and every state in order to prove, basically to approve the insurance product, what's called the rates and the forms, to show that on the one hand the rates are high enough in order to cover our own expenses and low enough in order to be fair, non-discriminatory, and so on and so forth. And each and every state have different rules for regulation, and each and every state have their own timeline for approval. Some of them it could take a week, for some it could take a year. Okay, not even within our hands. Obviously, California is a huge market, huge rideshare market. That's like obvious. It's also one of the tougher states from regulation standpoint. We have plans to be there, obviously, but these things take time.
Yeah, I agree. And so I'm going to jump into the questions. Let me go to the top, and I highlighted some questions. While I'm doing that, if there's anything you want to add, because we'll have a few minutes remaining, but so here's question number one. I have a rideshare endorsement on my insurance policy, but my insurance is $900 a month. What? I know she said she drives a 750i BMW, so I'm going like, okay. Will Voom help me save money? Well, there's one way to find out, Ash. I'm going to answer this for Tomer. Go to the website, put your data in, and then you'll find out if they're going to save you money or not. That's all I can say. You want to add something to that?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, so first of all, your answer is, concise to the point. That's exactly what you should do. Okay, so if you're in one of the states where we already operate, just go to the Voom website, try to get a quote. You get it online. So if you qualify, you see your number. Okay, so that's very important to know. I will say that when we started the product, we had like only one potential driver profile in mind. They want is like very let's say like a full-time driver that uses their car only for rideshare, and this is why their personal miles are so low, so they can save money with Voom. However, over time, we actually saw some other profiles that are very relevant for us. One is, just from a few weeks ago, one is a student that, doesn't really use their car almost at all. And on the weekends, they are doing rideshare. So again, they should benefit from a better rate because they are not using their car much.
For everyone who's watching now and watch later, the Voom link is in the show notes. Please just click the arrow down, and then the website link is there. And it's it's free. Go to the website and get a quote. It's free. I don't know how else I can beat free.
Yeah, getting a quote is free, and switching to Voom actually saves you money. So it's like even better than free.
Yeah.
It's better because it saves you money on something you must have. And another example, of driver that we had recently is a bus driver. So they're driving a bus in their day-to-day, and then when they have time, they're doing Uber. So the car is sitting there. No one drives the car, and only when they're doing Uber and Lyft they're using it. So we have like many profiles that we didn't even think of, but over time, when you get some more volume, you see like more and more profiles.
Yeah, absolutely. So this gentleman says my rideshare endorsement was. Okay, was is not a good thing. You should have rideshare endorsement if you're driving rideshare, sir. Not was, it should be is. I'm 900 every 6 months. You definitely, Mr. Ramon, you should definitely go check out the Voom website. Okay, there's one more. What about my entire family household members? Well, there you go. I don't know the answer to that. So
wonderful question. So if you have other household members, as long as you name them on the policy, so we know like who are the drivers, they can drive as well. We need like one person in the family that was like a rideshare driver that we can verify and connect their account. But if you have like other family members, they can also be named on the policy and be covered.
There you go. There's your answer for that. I love doing these interviews because I learned so much besides everybody else learning. Does Voom cover delivery insurance? I know the answer, but I'm going to have you answer that question.
Yeah. So the answer is no, and it's like we also don't cover the rideshare insurance, right? Because the rideshare is covered by the rideshare, and the delivery is covered by the delivery. The thing with rideshare is that it's like very regulated. So if you have an accident during a rideshare activity, then you're covered by Uber, Lyft, and other rideshare companies.
Right.
If you're doing deliveries, it's actually more of a gray area. Many delivery companies, some delivery companies just cover you, and that's fine. Many delivery companies actually sometimes they say they cover you, but they don't really cover you. So that's this is like an education channel. This is something that if you're doing deliveries, I would really recommend to dig into what's covered and what's not. We focus on rideshare drivers because we know that when we don't cover them, someone else covers them in the right way.
I agree with that. By the way, I agree with Tomer on this one. If you're doing DoorDash, if you're doing Grubhub, insurance is very, very sketchy with these companies, even in period 3. So you need to, depending on your state, you may not have coverage at all, even during period 3 with food or deliveries in the car. And I don't know the answer to this either. Do they provide commercial insurance for black or SUV?
So
if it's for rideshare,
Uber Black is a bit different. That's like a much more expensive insurance that covers you for period 2 and 3. We do not play in this market. We basically replace the personal insurance that you have in a more tailored manner.
Okay. How do I know how much I drive? He actually answered that, but
but maybe it wasn't clear enough. So we audit it in the following way. We take like a picture of the odometer. This is how we know like the overall mileage of the car. Then we connect to your rideshare account in order to know the trips that you're doing there and deduct them from your overall mileage. This way we know how much you're driving for personal use. At the quote stage, in the very beginning, we ask you for an estimate for how much you drive personally. If you don't have an idea, then you can just call our call center and they will help you, guide you through how to know and how to estimate correctly.
There you go. Another one is offer liability insurance.
Yes, so like we the mandatory insurance that autos have is third party bodily injury, property damage. So that's liability insurance. We also offer comprehensive, but yes, we offer liability insurance.
Okay. And let me see if I have saved anything else. Unfortunately, you're not in New York or Florida. Somebody's saying, Ohio is coming up. There was a question, when are you coming to North Carolina? Was the question.
In the works. It's in the works.
There you go. That's that question.
71. We're working for you.
Okay, so here's an interesting comment. Buckle was regulated also, but they just ignored their customers, period. Drivers went months without getting their car back from the mechanic, ended up losing cars. I don't know about that, but we don't want to, Buckle is gone. Voom is here. So let's just focus on that.
Important comment, but
this gentleman says, Serge, don't be afraid to ask the tough questions. When was the last time I was afraid to tough questions, buddy? What are you talking about? Okay. Let's see. I think that should do it. I don't see. All right. So, we have a couple of minutes. So I'm going to give you the floor, Tomer. I want you to close and tell us why we cannot do without Voom insurance, number one. I know why, but I want the audience to hear it from you, from the CEO of the company. I am thrilled that you're here, by the way, because anytime we can be a benefit to drivers by not only saving them money, but educating them. I think it's we're doing our job. So the floor is yours.
First of all, thank you for having me, Sergio, again. I think, we're here talking about, the bottom line of drivers. Okay, so saving on insurance basically is a part of your overall, day-to-day as a freelance driver. You look at your, income from the rideshare companies and then all other expenses, gas, insurance, and other maintenance costs. Basically, we found way based on data that others don't have. We don't have like a magic. We just try to look at data that other insurance companies are blind to, in order to, on the one hand, save you money, but on the other hand, not less importantly, to provide you with better coverage. Okay, so theoretically speaking, it's a no-brainer for any driver that is listening to the show to go to the Voom Insurance website and see if they can save with us. Not everybody can. Not everybody can. If you're using your car, for personal reasons, for other stuff, you won't necessarily save with us. But the ones that are very happy with the product. I'm seeing on Facebook many drivers are writing to their fellow drivers how much they saved on Voom, and it really warms my heart. And I'm very glad that we are able to use technology and look at data that others are blind to in order to do it. Go to the Voom Insurance website, try to get a quote. Go to our resources in order to learn more, and also they can just write me an email, and I will be very happy to answer, or will have my email in the show notes.
Lastly, I've been to the website. It's really, really great website, not just for getting a quote, but also for the blog side, for the education. A lot of the questions you guys are answering was there, but since the man is here, might as well ask the CEO of the company. And, Tomer, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll be in touch and hope you guys learn. Again, if you guys have any questions, Voom link is in the show notes. The article we wrote about Voom with a lot more detail is also in the show notes, the link of that. And you heard the man, send him an email. He'll answer. I'm sure you guys will send it to me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. And then I'll forward it to Tomer, and then he'll get back to you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tomer. Much appreciated. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're by ourselves. What's happening? So as you guys may have heard, Chris is not here. Why is he not here? As you all know or may know, they're expecting their third child. His wife had a little bit of an issue. Hopefully it's nothing, but out of abundance of caution, he had to take her for a checkup. And so hopefully he'll join us. If he doesn't, I'm going to try to wing it myself again this week, because last week I did it. You all said you enjoyed it. And we're going to add an extra Show Me the Money to just a Q&A. No topics, off the cuff, like we did last week when Chris was on vacation. And a lot of people said, oh, you should do this, more often. I'm like, okay. We said, we'll do it more often. So keep fingers crossed for Chris. Even if he doesn't show up, I think I can manage. So the first topic I'm going to talk about, and, I'll answer some questions at the end, save your questions. So this has been a big issue with Lyft. And I've gotten many, 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 many emails about this. In fact, I can say this because I had the meeting yesterday, and I had a meeting with Lyft, the people who are in charge of this area right here. Okay. All the passive aggressive emails that we get, right? At risk of deactivation, right? And it says your driver account continues to be flagged by riders for providing poor passenger experience. That's a bunch of baloney. This is I'm sure most of you have seen this type of email coming from Lyft, the passive aggressive ones. And, they treat you like an employee, but then they call you an independent contractor. But that's not the issue. The issue is there is a bug in their system. The calculations of cancellation rates have changed. Okay. But then what's been going on is that one day you look at your cancellation rate is at 1%, the next day it jumps to 8%, the next day it goes down to 4%, and then a couple of service flags shows up, and then the one middle screenshot, your driving score tanks. When your driving score tanks, what happens, right? You lose your tier, just like it says in the middle screenshot. Your score is lower because we updated how cancellation rate is calculated. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit, I said yesterday to Lyft, and they are feverishly, seriously working on it to fix this issue. I do feel for you guys if you lost your platinum or if you lost your elite because of their mess. They had this situation, by the way, at New Year's. You guys remember they had the New Year's glitch, and we had everybody's tiers brought back to what they were. Hopefully, we're going to be able to do that again. The email on the left, canceling too often, is also a bunch of garbage, right? There are sometimes we got to cancel, period. I mean, if we can't get to a passenger, we got to cancel. If we don't feel safe, we got to cancel. If it's an unaccompanied minor, we got to cancel. Those should not even count towards the cancellation rate, but for some reason, with the bug in the system, it's counting. And when, I told Lyft yesterday, I go, listen, you send this to a driver at risk of deactivation, and then they lost their tier, right? This gentleman lost gold and got slapped down to silver because of Lyft's problem. This was not a driver problem, right? They couldn't figure out what was going on, but now they have a handle on it. Hopefully it'll be fixed shortly. But what happens to your morale? What happens, right? You're pissed off already, and you get that email at risk of deactivation. I had so many of these emails this week that, Serge, well, am I going to get deactivated? I go, I don't think so. It's an auto-generated email. We all know it. But then what happens is it puts you in a bad mood. And how are you going to treat the next rider that gets in your car, right? How are you going to do that? And the way you're going to do that is, maybe even turn the Lyft app off and say, get lost and then get on Uber, right? So what happens? Everybody lost. Lyft lost. The riders are going to lose, and definitely the drivers losing by losing their tiers. So to me, important thing is for these so-called technology companies, they have to be able to get a hold of these things. This is completely bullshit. And but I know they're working on it. I met with 3 people at Lyft yesterday. They're the heads of the departments who are in charge of this, as well as support, whatever support is these days. They're working on it. They are aware of the problem, and that's all I can say. But if you do get this, don't panic. Don't email me. I had hundreds of these already at risk of deactivation. They've been having problems. They kind of fixed it, and then it went back again. And the problem with all these companies is they make it so complicated in the back end that there's no reason for any of this, right? But then they do it because they do it. And so that's our first topic. The next topic I'm going to talk about is, we had put this up before David Risher showed up, when Logan Green and John Zimmer were running Lyft into the ground. You guys can see this big tree and the little tree? You guys can see that little tree right there where it's just pink Lyft, like it's almost like a shrub now. And then David Risher showed up, and then he tried to compete, and he tried to change things. In fact, Lyft stock did really, really well. So talking about stocks, if you guys don't know, under some sort of rock already, I have a finance YouTube channel. It's at Sergio Avedian. YouTube has nothing to do with gig economy or rideshare, because I have close to 35 years of experience on Wall Street. And channel has done well. In a couple, 3 months, I broke like 1,000 subs already, but I'm not doing it for YouTube money. I'm doing it just like I'm doing it here for education purposes. It's at Sergio Avedian. Go subscribe. You'll learn quite a bit. You'll learn, because I know finance and trading and stocks and bonds and everything else 10 times more than I know about rideshare. Again, it's free information. It's amazing, amazing information, actually. So one thing you cannot buy in this world is experience, and I'm sharing my experience of 30 plus years with you guys on that channel. But so what happened is that the earnings came out on both companies last week. Uber did amazing, right? Hitting on all cylinders. Fantastic conference call. We thought David Risher was going to turn the company around and then, get a little shrub, get some water, get some sun, grow a little bit. In fact, it was happening. Stock went from $9 all the way to $20. And guess what? In the last earnings quarter was okay. They're growing at the, mid-teens. But what happened is that their outlook for the coming quarter was bad. And then what they do, stock is right back to $9 again. Please don't ask me if you should buy the stock or not. I cannot give you financial advice. But Uber stock, before the earnings, was at $55 a share on last Monday, when it was Bloody Monday. If you're involved in trading or stocks at all, you know what happened, like a mini crash. And then it hit 55 today, closed at 71. That's like 10 days, right? Not even 9 days, 9 trading days, 55 to 71 is pretty good. It's excellent. What am I saying? Pretty good. And Uber is hitting on all cylinders. Everything is going well with the company. Their delivery side is doing well. Rideshare is growing mid-teens. Uber did 2.8 billion trips with a B in one quarter. They're doing over 1.2 million trips per hour around the globe, per hour, every hour, 24/7, 365 days a year. Figure the system out. I'm just shocked that the stuff works as well as it does. But then Lyft now is back to being the little shrub again, right? Uber is kind of hovering over that little tree, and then the little tree is not getting enough sun, and the little tree is not getting enough. I'm rooting for Lyft because, listen, people, if Lyft goes out of business and Uber is the monopoly, if you guys are complaining now that you're not making any money, then you guys haven't seen anything yet, okay? But because in a monopoly, one player, they can do whatever the heck they want. If you guys think they're doing whatever the heck they want now, you want Lyft actually staying in competition. But then the competition, obviously, look, size-wise, Uber is 140 billion, Lyft is 4 billion. Some drivers like Lyft, some drivers like Uber. There was a question if is Lyft going to go out of business. I hope not. I don't think they will. But as an investment, I'm talking about, I don't think it's a prudent thing to do. It's like $9 and change. But maybe they'll get taken over by somebody, because we talked about that a year ago, and then we may revisit that issue again. Here's the next subject I wanted to talk to you guys about. You guys know about, actually, Dara Khosrowshahi during the Uber conference call talked about this quite a bit, and he did a podcast. Dara, we're on first name basis. I met you last November in LA. We talked like 15 minutes on our own before you did your presentation. Okay. I don't know why you got pissed off at, or you get bent out of shape about. I know I talk a lot of trash. Okay. But I would love to have you on Show Me the Money. Okay. I mean, what's so special about this dude on the right? Okay. He had no clue. I listened to that interview. He had no clue what the heck he's talking about. Logan Bartlett. Okay. If you want to really come and talk shop, come here. Okay. I mean, Richard is going to come back in another month or so, although he's late, about 6 months, but he's still going to do it. Dara, come on. Don't be afraid. I'm not going to bite you. I mean, I know what I'm doing. Right? I'm going to be cordial, respectful. You're the CEO of a $145 billion company, right? Respect gets respect, but then, don't shine me off. Come on, show up. But then he did this interview with this gentleman. It's on YouTube. And he talked to, about during the conference call about this too. And he was like, autonomous vehicles are wonderful. I'm like, okay. He goes, I think we're just going to go to bed with as many autonomous vehicle companies as possible, such as they're in bed already with Waymo after suing each other for hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Now in Phoenix and in LA, I've taken 4 or 5 Waymos already. I mean, look, the thing drives wonderful. Okay, it drives as good as I can drive. But then these autonomous vehicles have their problems, right? Because first of all, their codes are written in a way that they cannot break the law. Like, we go pick up people at the bus stop. We pick up people on red, at fire hydrants, right exactly where they're standing. Okay. Waymo in LA, every time I tried it, I had to walk 5 minutes for my pickup spot. It won't come pick you up where you're standing, especially if it's written in its software that it's not supposed to pick you up where you're standing, right? It can't. I mean, the code is written in a way that they cannot break the law. It will or at 2 a.m, double park. It's not going to double park to pick you up, right? But we do all kinds of things. We break all kinds of U-turns. We know what we do as rideshare drivers, right? Just to service the rider. So, and then after drop off, I had to walk like 5 minutes too. So I'm like, the trip was 10 minutes. I had to walk 5 before and 5 after. I'm like, what kind of bullshit is that? Plus, it was like 30 to 35% more expensive than an Uber. I'm like, I don't know, with these autonomous vehicles, why everybody's so, freaked out about it. But Dara says, this podcast was specifically about Tesla Robotaxi, and if Tesla is going to come and crush Uber. Actually, I quite often disagree with Dara Khosrowshahi, but on this one, I kind of agree with him. He says Uber CEO shares his doubts in Tesla Robotaxi's plans. I mean, I agree. There's one thing that these companies have done well. You guys can cuss them all out from here to kingdom come. They've created this amazing, amazing marketplace. Okay. By the way, on the last earnings quarter, $17.9 billion went into drivers' pockets. Okay, that went into the economy. I mean, that's not a joke. That's close to $18 billion that you all earned by driving for the company, not for the company, by driving rideshare. Without Uber, where would that 18 billion come into the economy from? It's in single quarter. But going back to this subject, Uber says, the CEO was saying that, Tesla Robotaxi, Elon is going to find out how difficult it is to create a marketplace. I 100% agree with you, by the way. If you guys listen to the finance channel or go subscribe to that one, I talked about this. Uber literally put 35 billion with a B dollars on fire because before they could turn a profit. $35 billion on fire, right? Subsidized Fantasyland, right? And then but we know what's happening to that now. In order to go profitable, they've cut the quest, they've lowered the fares, they're charging the riders as much as they can, paying you guys as little as they can. We know the story on that one. But he was like talking about, it makes sense what he says, right? So he goes, okay, so you have a Tesla, it has full self-driving FSD, right? Let's say it does. And then we know on personal cars, right? Our cars are utilized at most 20, maybe 25% of the time, which is going to work, coming from home, going to the market, taking to soccer practice, or, going on the weekends or whatever. But cars are sitting parked 75 to 80% of the time. So according to Elon, what Elon wants to do is that Elon wants to put those cars, while they're not utilized, into circulation, right? And create some income for the Tesla owners. Well, there's problems with that. First of all, regulations are not going to allow that to happen, because you cannot just willy-nilly put a Tesla out there. Regulators are looking at this very, very carefully. But Dara was saying that, the times that there is high demand, which is morning rush hour, afternoon rush hour, weekends, is the time that the person is using their car for personal use anyway, right? So he was like, on probably the times at which you're going to want your Tesla are probably going to the same times that the ridership is going to be at a high. I agree with that. The other thing is, besides the regulators, I don't think, FSD is there yet. I don't think the regulators are going to allow Teslas roam around before they go to level 5, like the Waymos are. 99.9%, 99.99% efficiency. I don't think the Teslas are there yet. I've been in a couple. They drive wonderfully, but then without a man behind the wheel, I wouldn't get in a Tesla by itself. I would get in a Waymo. I've been in a Waymo, but the Waymos are way ahead of the Tesla when it comes to driving. Some Tesla lovers may hate that, but it is what it is. So I agree with the CEO. I don't think it's a threat, but what he was saying, that they're going to turn this into a money-making machine, because if there is on other autonomous vehicle companies like Waymo, like Cruise, they said, look, we have everything mapped out. We have the marketplace ready. We're just going to integrate these autonomous vehicles into our systems. And in fact, I know for a fact that if you're in California or in LA, especially in San Francisco, in Phoenix, Arizona, in Austin, Texas, when you do go to order, if you're in the zone anyway, because a lot of these autonomous vehicles are still in a geofenced area. They can't get on the highways either yet, but they're testing it in San Francisco. The Uber app may offer you a driverless car, right? So I think I agree with the CEO on this one. So before we go on to our next topic, for all of you who are here watching later, in the show notes, you have our guest CEO, Tomer Kashi, Voom's website link, voom.com. You have the article there, and you have this, okay? This is our Amazon affiliate link. We've been saying this for months, years that I've been doing it. You should not be driving without a dash cam, okay? And I'm going to play you guys the dash cam footage. My personal dash cam is Display Ride, which uploads directly to the cloud, but there are some great sales going on now on Amazon. So those links are also in the show notes. Please go check them out. I'm going to play this short couple of videos for you guys. This guy uses Display Ride. And after the video, is up, I will talk about it. So you guys can see here, it's a display ride. The reason I have it, well, let me see. Yeah, okay, so this is muted because it has some music in it. But so this gentleman is waiting for the rider to show up. This is how display ride in-car camera looks. This is the camera I use, displayride.com. If you don't have it, please go get it. It's like with the RSG code, it's $10 a month. So he's talking to the rider already. I will fill you guys in what's going on, right? You know, let me just pause it real quick. So what in this situation, what's happening is that the rider, this female right here, you guys can see, I'm going to play the rest of the video in a second. The female is smoking literally right next to the car, right? And this guy, the poor driver, is watching her smoke. And, you know, she asks him, you know, can I smoke in the car? I'm going like, what? No, right? And this is what the guy is saying. So the conversation is already going sideways. You guys can tell from his facial features. And then now the guy goes, you know, I'm allergic to smoke. And this idiot is going to just finish the puffing and huffing while I'm waiting. The clock is going, right? I would have just canceled and went right in front of her, because you're not getting in my car when you just smoked a cigarette in like 30 seconds. And then you're going to make my car smell like shit, right? And but this driver says, you know, I'm going to cancel the ride because, you know, I'm allergic to smoke, and you shouldn't, when you come in my car, you know, it's going to smell like an ashtray, right? So continuing with the video, so there you guys can see it's getting a little animated. You know, he goes, it doesn't matter. You know, he goes, I'm going to cancel the trip. I cannot put you in the car. Now, you guys can have your own opinions about this and put it in the chat. I mean, if somebody is doing this to you and talking to you and asking you, see, he just put his window up, he canceled, he moved. He's about to move. And here she goes, right? Here she goes. And what do you guys think she just did? Okay. And here you go. And this is what she did. Watch this. Bang. Right? And I'm going like, piece of garbage. So he puts a dent in the driver's car. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Right? And this is what we're dealing with. And then I'll bet you anything, people, she's going to, right? She's going to send a fraudulent fake email or, you know, notify Uber or Lyft about what happened and say, this guy was racist, this guy was this, this guy was that, right? And what's going to happen to that driver? Deactivate it or suspend it at least. Yeah, there you go. Devo. Yeah, I can't either. But this is what happens. This is what happens without a dash cam. If you guys don't have a dash cam, right? And none of this would be evidence, right? Okay. And this guy actually kept his cool. And then at the end, you know, he just stopped the car, and then he said he's going to call the police, which I think he should, because that's assault. He put a dent on the guy's car, on the guy's door. This well, I'm going to say this fat slob, you know, put a dent in the guy's car. Look at it. There you go. She goes like, she's like moving away. Bang. And then this is the type of people we're dealing with, Uber and Lyft. You guys are watching this? I sent this to you guys already. So this is the type of garbage we're dealing with, okay? This is the people you're putting on your platforms. So luckily, the guy had a display ride dash cam, and boom, the evidence is there. If he gets deactivated, display ride has deactivation protection. Immediately send the video footage to Uber or Lyft, and you should be okay. So please have a dash cam. And if you're driving without a dash cam, please, even if you're driving minimal hours, you must have a dash cam. So our affiliate links are in the show notes as well. These are some good dash cams, actually. But none of them upload to the cloud except display ride. Like, you know, if something is going sideways, what is the first thing an idiot, right, is going to do? Grab the dash cam and run to kill the evidence, right? But display ride, they're already plastered in the cloud, so there's no possibility of getting away from that. And so, yeah, please have a dash cam. Please look out for yourself. And what do you guys think? Was this driver right to say, okay, I'm allergic to smoke, I'm not going to let you in my car? Because she already made him wait while the window is down. They're talking, right? She's huffing and puffing. Would you guys let this idiot in the car? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm always on the driver's side on this one. This trash should not be, she wouldn't have gotten in my car either. But then he was nice enough to wait. I wouldn't have even waited. When I see somebody huffing and puffing, either marijuana or specifically marijuana, or cigarettes, and making me wait, I'll be like, see ya, tailpipes, call another idiot, right? So I would have done that already. Maybe he put himself in this situation. So there you go. I talked to Lyft about this too. So I listened to, again, finance. Go to it's at sergioavadian.com. Please subscribe to my finance channels. You learn a lot. Hey, maybe you guys, I put such good trades on there already. You guys probably would have, quit driving for at least a couple of months with the money you would have made. But the point is, education, information is power. Please go learn about trading, about investing, about stocks, about everything that involves investing. So I listened to the Lyft conference call. As I said at the opening, Lyft CEO, David Risher, who is going to come on the show, hopefully middle of September, said, this is, I'm not making this up, okay? He said, right here on the second, Lyft thinks its new price lock feature can be an antidote to surge pricing. Okay, I go. And this is what the Lyft CEO said. We are going to open up a can of whoop ass on prime time, which is Lyft surge, right? CEO David Risher said on the company's second quarter earnings call. I was live listening to it. I'm like, did he really say that? He's the CEO of a $4 billion company. So anyway, I'm like, first of all, when I talked to Lyft yesterday, I said, there's no surge left anyway. What surge are you guys talking about? And then I said, who's going to lose in this? Somebody has to lose in this, right? So the way this is going to work out is they're going to offer riders a subscription up to $5 a month, so that they have surge protection or a price lock on a specific trip that they may be taking every morning, let's say, in morning rush hour, every day they take Lyft. Well, it could be surging, price could be fluctuating. We know about dynamic pricing, right? So they can protect themselves by getting this price lock. I'm going like, somebody has to lose in this. It's not the rider that's losing. Rider is going to get the flat fee, right? Well, who's going to eat that? I mean, Lyft is getting $5 out of the rider, right? So what's going to happen is that as opposed to sending the trip to the driver with a base rate, with a surge rate that we have, the bonus, the sticky bonus on Lyft that you just put it on and you accept the next trip, it's added. Supposedly it's added. We know it's not. We know it's like a fair replacement. But anyway, shaving, right? So I asked Lyft, I go, well, is the driver going to eat this? If they have surge, so the rider doesn't get charged surge. Lyft gets their $5 subscription fee. So the driver is going to eat it. They go, no. If the driver does have surge, we're going to pay the driver. The rider is going to get a flat fee because they have the subscription. And then, our margins are going to be less, but they thought this would actually take away some riders from Uber because they have a peace of mind guarantee that they know what the fare is going to be. I'm going like, okay, so you guys are cannibalizing your own shit. And I said, but I think it's a decent idea for riders as long as they don't mess with the driver's surge, right? Because initially what I thought was, yeah, they're going to open a can of whoop ass on surge. Well, there's no surge left anyway. Not in my city, in LA anyway. Unless there's like specific event going on or, 4th of July or whatever. Yeah. But other than that, the maps are white. There's no surge, maybe a couple of bucks here and there. So I don't know. I think this may work on Lyft's end as far as giving a peace of mind to the riders who take the same trip. By the way, this is not going to be on every single trip that they take. The details are not out there yet. They announced it during the call, and then, on Fast Company, Jessica wrote this article. Lyft is testing a new subscription-based feature called Price Lock, which offers commuters a capped fare on specific routes and specific times. So it's going to be very specific. It can't be like on every trip that you take. But I'll bet you it's going to be like during commute, right? If you're doing the same trip going from work to home or home to work every day, then yeah, on that one, you probably have a price lock. Rideshare platforms automatically increase the cost of rides when demand is high, like during rush hour or when supply is low. The price lock feature is meant to combat the surge pricing, and Lyft calls it prime time, for commuters who are using Lyft to go into an office or whatever. So, this may work because then if you buy the price lock, and it's going to be about $5 a month, by the way. So if you're a rider and you do frequent trips, I think this is a pretty good idea. You pay the $5 and then, you don't suffer surge. But one thing that I didn't ask them is that, with upfront fares, how does the rider know they're not getting charged surge, right? I mean, how do they know? The upfront fares, the algo can do whatever the heck they want. You know what they do with magic, right? Hocus pocus. So they can do anything. I mean, this is probably another thing that we will test between, put two riders side by side. One has the price lock, the other one doesn't have the price lock, and then they both order the same trip, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, these are easy things to prove. So that's the next topic. So I get I don't know, thousands of emails, but then once in a while I'll pay attention to this, and then I'll pay attention to certain ones, and then put it out there. This, you guys, I want you to, all the Lyft Kool-Aid drinkers here, please listen, okay? Specifically to the last sentence here. Rideshare Rodeo, thank you. Yes, please hit the likes. Thank you for the super chat. I'm glad Serge is safe. Yeah, I'm safe. So this email was, hey Sergio, just another example of nobody ever being able to figure out how external fees are calculated. That's going to be a sticking point when Vischer comes on, because he's going to say, we'll have the guarantee, 70-30 guarantee. I'm going like, this literally a week after that guarantee came out, I called it Hocus Pocus, and then I've been proven correct on that one. So every time I say Hocus Pocus, you all should take shots. So I did one comfort trip. This is okay. Pay attention to this, please. I did one comfort trip on August. So if you have stuff like this, by the way, and this is well done, please email it to me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com, because you guys are my eyes and ears on this in this game. I did one comfort trip on August 2nd from Palm Springs to Los Angeles. You guys know where that is. It's about 120 miles outside Los Angeles. Estimated to be 2 hours and 41 minutes, not miles. I don't correct these, by the way. 119 miles, and the passenger paid $190.29, of which $66.44 was external fees, or 35%. Think about this, people. 2 hours and 41 minute trip, 119 miles. For Craig, thank you for the super sticker. $66.44, because Lyft says external expenses is credit card fees, and this is not going to LAX, obviously. This is airport fees, city taxes, and commercial insurance. Do you guys believe that? $66 for commercial insurance for a single trip? Anyway, this goes on. This is very interesting. And then he goes, I did one regular trip, standard, he meant, I'm pretty sure. But I have the screenshots coming up. On August 6th from Los Angeles to Palm Springs. So a round tripper, right? But 2 different days. Estimated to be 2 hours and 47 minutes and 119.91 miles. Basically, the time and distance were identical, but one was comfort, extra comfort, and the other one was standard. And the passenger paid, are you guys ready? All sitting down for this? You guys sitting down? All right. Passenger paid $156.51. You all sit down. Of which $139.11 was external fees. So if you guys get this kind of shit, please email it to me. Email it to me, please. Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Out of $156 fare, $139.11 was external fees. According to Lyft, according to fuzzy math, Lyft actually lost $73.60 on this ride, which I will show you the screenshots in a second, which is a terrible way to run a business. I agree with you, sir. I completely agree with you, okay? So 2 nearly identical trips, same time and distance, but external fees are drastically different. right? On one trip, the external fee was $66.44, which I'm thinking is exorbitant as it is. But on the second one, it was $139.11. Lyft, do you think we should be buying this? The 70-30 split hocus pocus thing that's going on, right? How could this be? How could $139 on the exact same trip be? How could it be? Something is wrong, very wrong. But anyway, so I'm going to show you guys the screenshots first. The trip on the right is the standard trip, which went from LA to Palm Springs. You guys can see. Now, he's lucky, by the way. 2 hours and 47 minutes and 119.9 miles was the estimate. He probably didn't run into traffic. He did it in 2 hours and 9 minutes and 117.62 miles. And there it is. There it is. $156.51 right there. And 139.11 was the external fee. And Lyft chipped in 73.60. So on this trip, he made 91. So keep 91 in mind, please. Please keep, because I'm going to go back and tell you guys how much of a hocus pocus this upfront fare scheme is on long trips, especially. Pay attention. 90. He got paid 91. No tip. Fine. So pretty decent trip, actually, for 2 hours, 91 bucks. You know, it seems like he lives in Palm Springs. So, you know, I'll take that trip. On the trip on the left, which was the extra comfort trip that he did, okay, that one went from Palm Springs to LA, okay? So he got paid $116.17. As you guys can see, $190.29 was the passenger payment. Estimated external fees were $66.44. Lyft fee was, I don't know, I can't see because it's covering the shit, but long story short, he ended up getting $116.17. Now, keep two numbers in mind, 91 and $116.17. Okay? Now, let's go back. And this last sentence I added to this. Pay attention, people. This is the difference between upfront fares and a rate card. Okay? FYI, that's my sentence that I added to this gentleman's email. FYI, pre-UFD rate card of on standard trips, pre-upfront fares and destination, the rate card in LA was 80 cents a mile and 13 cents a minute on Lyft standard. That's the $91 trip we're talking about. So all I did was I went and multiplied the actual of this trip, $91 trip, 2 hours and 9 minutes and 117.62 miles with 80.13. He would have gotten paid $110.87 for the standard trip. What did he get paid? 91. 110 versus 91, about $20 difference, about 25% less. So Lyft, when you say rebalancing, and Uber, when you say rebalancing on these long trips, it's garbage. It's a cut. And I know, you know, one of our people, you know, that I love is Jeff. He goes, I'm making the same money I'm making before with upfront fares. I'm going like, you're smoking crack, Jeff. So I invited him to do a little crossfire debate because he says, yeah, I'm making the same money with upfront fares I was making before. You go, you must be the only one. Now, you guys figured that out? 110 versus 91. On the extra comfort trip, okay, the rate card is 90 cents a mile and 15 cents a minute. You guys ready? I went and multiplied the actual mile and time and distance with 90 and 15. It came to $136.45. What did he get paid? $116.17 versus $136. Again, a $20 haircut. This is both ways. 20 this way, 20 this way. This driver made $40 less because of upfront fares. So whoever is saying that I'm making more money with upfront fares, now, this is on the long trips. On the short trips, you guys are supposed to make more, but you just lost $40. 40. How many short trips can you do that you're going to make at 50 cents, $1 more? That's 40 trips you got to do on the short end to make up for the long end. You people getting this yet? So upfront fares is bullshit, but you know, yeah. So how do you guys like this? You guys like this? Yeah. $40 less this driver made. So Lyft, yeah, stop with the hocus pocus. What is that? That's $139 out of $156 is external fees. And I know this for a fact, people. Those two lines, estimated external fees and Lyft take rate or Lyft service fee, Lyft fee, is interchangeable. When one is very high, the other one is easy in their minus, or Lyft and losing money, or very low. Or when the external expenses are very low, Lyft take rate is very high. That's how they're pegging everybody at this 70-30 level. The algo is done wonderfully well, although it doesn't seem like it helped their stock. This is one other subject that I want to talk to you guys about. And then if I have time, I'll answer a few questions. Department of Justice, as we all know. What is the biggest headache, by the way? I actually talked to both companies this week about this subject. Because guess what? School is starting, right? We're going to have a lot of unaccompanied minor issues. Please do not take unaccompanied minors in your car. Don't. You're going to actually, what the Lyft CEO said, you're going to open a can of whip ass on yourselves if you get an offender bender, because there is no Voom coverage. There is no P2, P3 coverage. There's nothing. You guys are screwed for life. So tailpipes, move on. Do not pick any underage minors. You know, even if you think your cancellation rate is going to go up, don't do it. Huge responsibility. But we have another headache, right? It's a major headache, actually, for a lot of drivers, which is, you know, people with service animals. Now, I love dogs, mostly dogs, they are. But those service animals are better trained than the driver and the owner itself, okay? They will come in and sit in the, you know, floor. They won't jump all over the car, right? I mean, you can tell if the dog is service animal or if it's some chihuahua that people go, oh yeah, this is my emotional support dog. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take you. But then if you don't take them, what happens? They deactivate you because the rider will complain to Uber and Lyft saying, oh, you know, refuse service with an animal. I'm like, no, you know, don't you guys think that the rider should have some sort of proof? Maybe they should have like a card, you know, ID card for the dog. Yeah, look, this is my service animal. I'm not bullshitting your driver, right? But no, I am 8 out of 10. They're not service animals. You can tell they're not service animals. They come in the car, jump on your seats, mess up your seat, hair everywhere. I'm all like, what a disaster. But then under ADA guidelines, I have to take that person in my car. If I don't, they will complain and Uber and Lyft will deactivate me. But now, DOJ is looking into Uber and Lyft ride refusals involving guide dogs. Now, if you have a service animal and you know it's a service animal, there are a couple of questions you guys can ask. Okay, which is this a service animal? Obviously, you're going to ask. You cannot ask for paperwork. You cannot ask for anything like that. But now that the DOJ is looking into Uber and Lyft, because people are seeing the dog and go tailpipes, cancel, what's going to happen? What do you guys think is going to happen? I'm sure all of you already got the emails. I got one saying you must take under ADA, American Disabilities Act. It's a federal law, by the way, which is horrible. And these companies are stuck between the ADA and the DOJ, and the drivers are stuck between the companies and this shit. What they do? They go, you have to take every animal in the car. I mean, I'm like deadly allergic. What if I have like a hyperflactic shock or something because I'm allergic to dogs? I go hit a wall and I'm like, this is out of control. But the point is DOJ is putting a squeeze on Uber and Lyft, right? Who do you think Uber and Lyft is going to put a squeeze on? The rider saying, no, you have to have proof that this is a guide dog or guiding guide dogs or service dogs. No, they're going to boot you. They're going to go, you know, they're going to go, Serge, you're deactivated. You're fired because this guy or lady with a out of control dog, you know, piss in my car. No, I'm not going to let it. But then you guys really be careful with this issue. Okay, please be careful with this issue. Actually, this is a good one. You can only ask passenger, is this a service animal and how does it help you? You are ordered by law to take the animal no matter what. I actually agree with the whole comment here. But then freedom is not the point. The point is there are laws. There are federal laws that Uber and Lyft have to abide by, and there are laws as rideshare drivers under the so-called terms of service you have to abide by. And unfortunately, when DOJ puts the squeeze on these people, they're going to put the squeeze on us. I guarantee you that. But going back, please, schools are starting. Please, please, please do not take unaccompanied minors in your car. I don't care how desperate you are for that $5. You are playing with mega fire. Your life is over. Okay? Don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay? And so there you go. Okay, let's see. Ash says, I'm allergic to pet hearing. Hey, yeah. You can't. You can't opt out. You cannot. No, you don't have the option. I had a driver who got a doctor's note and sent it to Uber. This guy is truly deadly allergic, like deadly, right? And Uber said, no, it's a federal guideline. There's no ifs and buts. There's nothing you can do. So yeah, be careful with this, guys. There you go. That's a good advice, Kenneth. If you see your passengers, well, I mean, look, man, I like dogs as much as the next person, but when I see the dog jumping up and down already before they get in my car, I'm like, no, not gonna happen. Tailpipes. But then, yeah. So shots, yes. Eric Lee, shots. Hocus pocus. There you go. Craig Edelson, of course, you're welcome. Okay, let me go through the last one. I think I have one more. Chris did not make it. Okay, fingers crossed. I hope everything is fine, but you guys know when you go to the hospital, you know how ridiculously freaking bullshit that is. Okay, so this I tweeted this. I wasn't going to talk about it. I'm not a political kind of guy on these channels anyway. I mean, I do talk enough politics. This is from the Uber. Okay, these big companies have to form files with the SEC. Okay, anytime there's a change in executive leadership, anytime there's earnings, S1s, K1s, 10Ks, 10Qs, all these bullshit codes. If you guys want to learn more about that, go subscribe to my finance channel. So I saw this, you know, Damien, thank you for the super chat. This is a great comment right there. Uber would get so much done. They don't not only trust the driver, they don't listen to the driver. Thank God they're listening. Like yesterday, I had a really productive meeting with Lyft. Yeah, exactly. But it's a federal guideline, so that's the goddamn problem. I'm sorry. So anyway, I saw this in Uber's SEC filings, and it caught my eye because I saw Tony West's name. Tony West is the CLO, Chief Legal Officer, who is the architect of all these Proposition 22s, the new Massachusetts law, the New York AG settlement, all these things, right? Or the Minnesota law that they passed, right? Okay, so as of August 18th, today is the 13th, in 5 days, Mr. Tony West, who is the brother-in-law of Kamala Harris, who was the Democratic presidential candidate, as we know it as of today. He says, on August 2, Uber Technologies announced that Tony West, the company's senior vice president, chief legal officer, and corporate secretary, plans to take a temporary unpaid leave of absence commencing August 17th, okay, in 4 more days, to volunteer on a political campaign in his personal capacity. See how shady these people are? I mean, they don't have to, you know, but how dumb you have to be not to figure out that this is for Kamala Harris's campaign. I don't think he's going to go campaign for Donald Trump, right? Look at it. It says for a campaign, political campaign, volunteer on a political campaign. Why don't you guys say that? Kamala Harris right here. Huh? Uber? No? I asked Uber for comment on this. Crickets, nothing. Of course, you know, when they come in, they come in. Like that was, you know, we talked about 2 weeks ago, we talked about Dara Khosrowshahi selling 500,000 shares, right? I said everything perfectly. The next day, I get an email from Uber saying, hey, why are you saying that? I'm like, what do you mean, why am I saying that? I know what I'm saying. Do you know what you're saying? They go like, no, you shouldn't have said that. I'm like, what do you mean I said that? It's public information. I can say whatever the heck I want. You know, I know about finance more about that 10 times that you know at Uber that works at PR, right? She goes, how about you put it on your newsletter? I'm like, that wasn't me. I go, about you go watch, show me the money, you'll figure out. I didn't say anything I wasn't supposed to say, and then I go, take a hike. Anyway, so Katie Weitzman, the company's chief deputy general counsel, will assume Mr. West's duties. What do you guys think about this? First of all, I mean, it's unpaid. First of all, it's good. Does Tony West really have that much pull, right? To maybe he's going to go raise some fundraisers, do some fundraisers for his sister-in-law, or I took bets with a couple of people actually. I said if Kamala Harris does get elected, I think Tony West will leave Uber and then be in the cabinet. I'm pretty sure. Now you guys understand what kind of odds we're working against. You know, Sarah, you see what I'm saying? You know, you guys understand what kind of odds we're working against? The brother-in-law of the current vice president and the presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, is the chief legal officer at Uber. If Kamala Harris does get elected, you guys think you're screwed. You guys are going back to. So I mean, this is like a look. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but the connection is pretty clear to me in this one. And I'm like, I go, you know, pretty interesting. So I thought I'd share this with you guys, and then I'll read the comments in a minute because they're flying. And yeah, put it in the chat. Let me see what you guys think about Tony West helping Kamala Harris's campaign. I mean, leaving he gets paid quite a bit. Unpaid leave of absence. That's a lot. Okay, people. I'm pretty sure he's got $1 million check every month coming to him. I'm pretty sure his salary is, I think it was 10 million last year. Don't take me my word. You can go check the public records. So last but not least, back with two fakes. I thought this was pretty appropriate because we're talking about Kamala Harris presidential elections. Here's one on the left. Fake name, Uber. We're still dealing with it. But, you know, I'm not going to give up. I'm just out of fun. I'm going to put these up. President. Really? That's a real name? President? My ass, right? No. There you go. And the funny thing is, though, somebody accepted that trip. I would accept it too, probably. If it was daytime, I probably would accept the trip, right? And this is an Uber X shared trip. What kind of passenger are you? You can't afford an Uber X on your own, president. You are the president of what? Huh? You can't even afford an Uber X. You have to take an Uber X share? Get lost. And then the one on the right is Lyft and luxury. That's a real name, I'm pretty sure. And, you know, to make things worse, right? It's a new account. You know, when I see these, new, no rating, new account, I'm going like, nope, tailpipes. I'm not going to take those unless it's like a really juicy search trip or something like that. So, people, I'm done. An hour and a half. I think I did good. Chris, you need to come back, bro. I kept my shit together again today. You know, first of all, the crowd misses you, right? But I hope everything is good on your end. You know, I'm sure you'll let me know when you're done. So everybody, keep fingers crossed, Chris and the wife. So I'm done. So let's look at, you know, I'll spend 10 minutes, answer some questions or some comments, put up some comments. Let's see what's happening. Let's see. Okay, just make signs of the desperate lift is. Okay. All right, I'll just put some comments up. Just more signs of how desperate Lyft is. They're trying to undercut Uber's pricing to gain rider market share. No problem. Is Lyft pay? Yeah, I agree. Good comment. Surge is safe. Yeah, I'm safe. I guess. I don't know. Do you know something I don't know, Carl? Okay, here we go. Mr. Gambit, the #1 surge sniper in Los Angeles. The man, the myth, the legend. Right now, every comfort trip in LA, Uber gets 50. I don't know about that. Not every. They charge 19 for insurance, 30 for service fee. Every comfort trip. Driver gets 19. Yeah, he sent me a couple. He sent me one, but I didn't put it up, but maybe I will. Craig says, great. Yeah, exactly. Go visit the channel. You guys will learn. Okay, Kiki says scam. Why? The Lyft thing is a scam? Maybe, I guess. Would have never took it. Why? The guy lives in Palm Springs, $130 for 2 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes of work. It's pretty good. $50 an hour. And then I'm pretty sure he can piece together some trips on Destination Filter or what. We were just trying to make sense of how much less he got paid because of upfront fares, because there is no rate card, people. Right? He got paid $20 less going one way and $20 less going the other way with the old rate card. So whoever is saying, drinking the Kool-Aid and saying, oh, yeah, the fares are the same, I'm making the same amount of money, you're smoking crack. Okay. Mr. Gambit says he's good at what he does. Listen to Mr. Gambit. Now in the app, the insurance rate, crap, they got a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo explaining statement. Yeah, I know. Every time I say something about it, Mr. Gambit, they change the thing and they send it to me. Oh, this is a new update. I'm like, I don't give a shit, bro. You guys are cheating on that anyway. I mean, who are you kidding? You guys can move those numbers around any way you want. Mike Smith says, folks, it's not complicated. The algo picks the lowest payoff it thinks you will accept. All the other numbers are made up. I guess so. I kind of think it is true. By the way, we have something humongous dropping the last week of August, but I will announce that when I get the exact date on it. Uber and Lyft, you ain't gonna like this one. Okay. Lyft is garbage. No, not necessarily. Yeah, there you go, Steve. Hit the nail on the head. Lyft lost, driver lost, customer lost. Great business model, Lyft. 100% agree, bro. They should hire me. Or seriously. I mean, I can fix this shit. Daniel Rivas says they calculated off-road insurance. Yeah. Well, that wasn't like exactly a nature hike. I mean, it's gone from Palm Springs to LA. So, but yeah, at $156, I think it was it $139 was commercial insurance? Come on, bro. What the hell? It's ridiculous. Okay, a couple more comments. So, was my math wrong? Was it 25? Sorry. I figured 20. Just ballpark. Yeah. On that single trip, it was. Yeah. Figure that out, William. No. See, these are the things. Carl, listen, how do you know it's a dead trip? He's in LA, busy part of town. He can set his DF. I'm pretty sure he's going to catch a couple of more long trips going home. I mean, look, it's going to take time, but especially if he lives in Palm Springs, or he's dropping off at a busy area and is going back home. So I think it's okay. Yeah, we're going to ask that about Jeff. Yeah, I think Jeff, I'm sure he's watching. Congrats to Jeff, by the way, who's a grandfather now. Yes, please smack the like button. Okay. I make $3 on short trips. Jim, why? Why are you taking them, Jim? It's total loss. You're not a loss leader. You're not Walmart, Jim. Stop taking those $3 trips. Just no good. Unless you have some sort of, I don't know, crazy quest or some other, what do you call it, ride challenge or something. Okay, that deadhead thing is way overrated, people. So please stop. I mean, in some cases, definitely not overrated. But in LA back to Palm Springs is really not that bad. No kids ever. Yes, listen to right there, Baba Sue 74, and in capitals, no kids on any platform. Aaron W Gaming 1 million, and Steve Rideshare Rodeo. Never ever take unaccompanied minors ever. Listen to these people. These people have experience. Yeah, Josh, there you go. Don't be tempted, bro. I'm telling you, your life is over. What if a kid says he touched my leg or something? Huh? Then what? Yeah, please don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be that desperate. Okay, a couple more of these comments. Okay, Josh says, I had a service family yesterday, and I was so pissed. Oh, okay, cool. They need, well, there's Uber Pet, but most people, to save a few bucks, they won't order Uber Pet. They'll just show up with their goddamn unruly dog in your car. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? Don't you guys think like there should be some sort of, like a tag or a license that this is a service dog? I mean, then problem solved. If you don't have the tag, you're not a service dog. You're some barking chihuahua irritating the crap out of me. I mean, I keep saying chihuahua. There could be any dog, so chihuahua lovers, don't hate me. You are obligated, sir. You are obligated. Oh, no, you are. You are obligated. Read that again, Mike Smith. I'm sure you'll send me an email about this. You are, I mean, if you do accept, you're not, obviously you can cancel and move on. That's not the point. But if you just show up, stop and look at the dog and cancel and go, and you're going to get most likely deactivated. Under ADA guidelines, you cannot refuse trips. And that's why people loved Uber and Lyft, because cabs, the old days, they would just go see the dog and take off. So, yeah, you are obligated kind of to accept pets. I don't know that question. Daniel Rivas says, aren't they only dogs? I don't know. Are they? I guess there's emotional service animal or whatever. Could be an iguana. I don't know. I don't know. So if I don't know, I don't know. Okay, it's a good one. The true brown lady with a service dog, and it was properly identified with it. Yes, exactly. That's what service dogs are supposed to do. They are smarter than me and you. They are. They're awesome. I love those dogs. They know what to do. They come sit in the, what do you call that? The well, right? Right under the owner's foot. There you go. So I put that one up, and yeah, chat's busy today. Let's go to the last one. Really? Yeah, after you get deactivated, I don't know. Okay, so there comes the political shit now. Let's see how you guys hammered Kamala, huh? What did Tahoking say? Okay. Tahoking says riders with animals should be yes. I mean, not just riders with service animals should have a tag. That's a service animal. So I can distinguish as a driver between, a service animal and one that's not. No, I don't know about that. Okay. This is sad, but maybe true. Uber will be paying you 10 cents a mile if Harris wins. And you know what? Some people will probably accept those as well. The illegals mostly. I mean, imagine that, Here comes the political shit. Kamala Harris is gonna, yeah. Well, they already are. I mean, is there a question about that? Why do you think markets are oversaturated? Come on now. Okay, here we go. He's gonna get some hate. Buddy Steve said, I know who I'm voting for, and it ain't for the current. I'm sorry. And the guy was like, okay, all right, cool. All right, whatever. No, actually not. Eric, I would like you to go check the SEC filings. Tony West's salary is about 10 to 12 million a year. The salary, stock options are on top of that. It's called RSU, restricted stock units. Most of them don't get stock options anymore. They get RSUs. If you want to learn about these things, go subscribe to my finance channel at Sergio Avedian. He gets about 10 to 12 million cash in salary. Dara gets about 25. That was last year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hocus pocus, everybody. Shots. One last shot because I'm about to take off. What happened to Uber Party Bus? I don't know. Don't they have one? I thought they had one. I don't know. Exactly. He names his avatar or whatever. His screen name is president, but he can't afford UberX. Yeah, loser. Okay, I wish I have powers, but I don't have that kind of special powers. I mean, the rate card before we had was 60 cents a mile, 21 cents a minute, 11.89 pairs in LA. Okay, IRS deduction is 67 cents a mile this year. 60 cents a mile we were working for. I mean, hello, reality check, people. Yeah, thank you, Ash. Best wishes to Chris. Where is Chris? I said that already, Eric Lee. He had some issues, personal emergency thing. Jesus Christ. You email him. Chris at therideshareguy.com. Carl Williams, email him that. What's happening? I don't know. Well, I don't know, Pablo. We have something major coming up, though. You guys will love that. That will make me super famous now. Maybe some drivers too will be super famous on that one. Once you've started a share run, no, don't do that. Aaron, yeah, don't do this either. Don't go in anybody's house. There are dumb shits that will ask you. Aaron W Gaming says DoorDash delivery 182 delivered to an apartment. Kids come out to get the order. Parent was inside making order. Has never. Yep, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't hand this shit to somebody else. Otherwise, DoorDash will deactivate you. I know. Okay, listen, Mike Smith. I'm not arguing with you. What I'm saying to you is that any rider can say this is a service animal. I'm not telling you that any pet you're obligated to. How do you distinguish between a service animal and a pet? You email me on that one. I know you email me all the time. You can't. So when you say no and they complain and you're gone, that's the problem. Holy shit. Okay. All right. So I'm almost done. Chris did not make it. Hocus pocus, Eric Lee. One more shot. Last one. One before we hit the road. BJ Davis says we need to protest. Well, BJ Davis, first of all, there's two things happening in Chicago. I know you're listening to it. I know you're involved. Well, I don't know if you're directly involved, but one is with Laurie Simmons and one is with IDG. I suggest you start reading because Uber is going to come with their own hocus pocus minimum wage guarantee bullshit there as well. Okay. Last comment. Single and looking. Hey, single and looking. Hello from Chicago. If you got deactivated, they are probably doing you a favor. So Sergio, which company do you want to become the CEO of, Uber or Lyft? I like an underdog, so probably Lyft. Smaller crew, tighter crew. Actually, I want to become the CEO of Y-Ride. But we'll talk about that in the next few shows. Yes, that's true. This is very correct. ADA doesn't require any markings on it. Yep, yeah, that's true. But then if a dog is coming in with that yellow vest on it, they're good. Okay. All right, people. Much love. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you learned something from Tomer. Please go check on the link. Free quote. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If you save cash, save cash. Voom Insurance, the link is in the show notes. The dash cam shit is in the show notes. Sign up to the newsletter. What else? Oh, sign up to my finance channel. I'm going to do Power Hour. I do a live stream every Friday called Power Hour there, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So join me there live on Friday. What else? That's it. So you guys have a great week. Please be safe out there. Stay healthy. Don't worry about this shit. And what else? That's it. Much love. Thank you for the support. And adios.